What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome to the Deal Desk. We're making live calls today. I have a special treat for you guys. I want to showcase you a lead that I called that ended up turning into a signed contract. I'll call a few leads and I'm going to showcase that call. I think it went really well, and there's a good source for you to get leads just like that. So you got to stay tuned here after a few calls. But let's call the first lead that came in. All right, this first one is in Bainbridge, Georgia. All right. Looks like this is an investor special. Somebody submitted this lead. Looks like it came from Zillow. So let's take a look at it. Is this flood damage? Looks flood damage. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so this is the property right here. All right. And then on the Zillow listing, it says investor special concrete block, 2 3-bedroom, 1 bath, main house with separate rentable, rentable 2-1 detached studio apartment. Main house needs kitchen and bath rehab. Let me see these photos. Oh yeah, what happened here? Will be a great rental or flip potential. 125K firm. All right, so yeah, this thing, I mean, it doesn't look too, oh, never mind this thing. Yeah, it's a little rough. It's not that bad. I don't know what was going on with it, but what did you put here in the notes when you submitted this? Bainbridge, Georgia. Looks like you didn't get a chance to speak with them, so I'm just going to go ahead and give them a call. Now, they are firm at $125,000. On the Zillow listing, they have 47 saves, okay, 884 views in only 2 days. All right, so let's see if they pick up the phone, because I don't want to, I don't want to run comps until they answer the phone. So let's go ahead and call them.
Hello.
Hey there, I saw your listing on Zillow. Are you still accepting offers for it?
Sure.
Did I catch it a good time?
No, I'm right in the middle of something, actually.
Oh, is there a better time to call you back?
Probably somewhere around 2 in the afternoon.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yep.
All right. So the reason I don't want to, if somebody's in the middle of something, one of the first things you notice when I call people is, did I catch it a good time? The reason I ask that is because if I don't ask that and I just continue the conversation, do you think they're going to have time to listen to me? I'm going to be able to ask questions. My goal is to ask questions, find out a little bit more about the reason they want to sell, the time frame they want to sell, and try to get a signed contract or accepted offer. And if you catch somebody at a bad time and you continue the conversation, chances are they're not really going to be very receptive when it gets to negotiations. But I do want to play this this lead. All right, I do want to play this lead that I spoke to a few days ago. This did ended up getting a signed contract. I think the ARV is around 430. We locked this up for 325. Okay. I want to give a huge shout out to Lead House 365. This lead was powered by Lead House 365. Listen into this conversation. Pay close attention how this call went, because you'll notice that it's a very systematic approach. I asked the questions. I built rapport. The lady had a bad experience with somebody else, right? Now, we're going to dig into that during the due diligence, but she had a bad experience with somebody else. And, when somebody has a bad experience with somebody else, you have to come across somebody brand new, offer a different solution, also be, fully transparent, set clear expectations, because she didn't sign on the first call. She wanted to actually review the agreement with family, and they had a few questions. I addressed those questions, and it was a few calls back and forth, but I think the very first call was really good. I want you to listen in to see how the conversation went about. So listen into this. Let me go to the very first call.
Hello?
Hey, Patsy.
Speaking.
My name's Steven. I think you filled out some information on our site about your property you're looking to get an offer on Giga Road.
Correct.
Did I catch it a good time?
This is fine.
Okay, great. So I'd like to give you an offer on that property. Our process is actually quite simple. I just want to ask you a few more questions about it, and then what I'll do is I'll go and evaluate the area here in the computer to give me a ballpark more or less of what we can offer you. I want to say it takes about 5-10 minutes. Is that okay?
Sure. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. And I also like letting everybody know up front, we are a real estate investment company, so I don't buy every property I look at, but we do have other options, and I won't waste your time if we're not a good fit, okay?
All right.
All right, perfect. So I pulled this up here. It shows it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Is that correct?
It's 3+ bedrooms. There's
Okay.
like a extra large room that's like a craft utility room,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 1.5 baths. It's one full that has shower and tub. The
Mhm.
smaller bathroom has just a shower, the sink, and the toilet.
Okay, perfect. And let's see here. As far as the condition, would you happen to know how old the roof is, the age of the roof?
That I don't know. But one of my friends who's a contractor said it was still in good shape. No
Okay.
problem. But as far as that goes, I don't have a clue.
Okay. Says on the online it's about 1762 square feet. Does that sound about right?
Yes,
Okay,
And-
perfect.
it has a full basement that's the same size.
Okay. Full
And-
basement.
It has two fireplaces. One is in the basement and the other is upstairs on the main floor.
Okay. 2 fireplaces. Sounds like a great property. What's got you looking to sell it?
I'm 78 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just way too big, way too much for me to take care of. It's almost 5 acres of land, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
highly allergic to fresh cut grass,
Oh, no.
so I can't, maintain the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had COVID, and the last time it damaged my lungs and my heart. So
Oh, wow.
I have a really hard time
Yeah, I can
doing anything
imagine.
anymore.
Okay.
And so I plan on buying a motorhome, and I'm going to
Mhm.
travel.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. What kind of time frame, more or less, were you hoping to sell the property?
Yesterday,
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Let me take a look around here. And as far as the electric and plumbing, is that all working okay?
yes, there's no problems.
Okay, perfect. And then what were you hoping to sell the property for?
I was looking for a 325 that would pay off the mortgage, which is 150.
Okay. You already have a mobile home you're looking to travel in?
Yeah, I found one that I'm thinking about. Actually,
Nice.
there's 2 of them.
Oh, that's great. Okay, let me take a look here. Let me see so this is a 3, 1.5. Yeah, this is you've owned the property for a while, or?
Well, it was originally my brother and I bought it together.
Oh, nice.
And anyway, he passed away.
Mhm.
My youngest daughter and her family were living in it. And it does need a really good clean out. It's
Yeah.
not so much, the flooring throughout the house does need to be replaced. they had animals that were allowed to do whatever.
All right.
And so the flooring does need to be replaced. It's,
Okay.
I don't know, that fake wood, type stuff. But anyway, February 25th is when that was changed.
Okay. All right. And it's just under your full name at the moment?
Yes, it's under my name, Patsy Ann McCracken.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
But it has a lot of acreage.
Yeah. Yeah, typically in properties that are in areas like this, what we sometimes do is we partner up with a local investor-friendly agent, and sometimes we work with them. I think 325 might be doable. I'd have to double check to see if we can do that. If we can do that price, when were you ready to move forward as far as like an agreement in place?
I would do it tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Let me do a little bit of due diligence here. Is it okay if I give you a call back at this number?
Sure.
All right, perfect. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right. So that lead, again, that came from leadhouse365.com. Shout out to them. I'll be calling another one of their leads later today. That was a motivated leads. The very motivated seller. So she ended up signing. Now, a few things I want you to notice, especially when you're dealing with elderly sellers, you have to move at their pace. You can't talk fast. You can't rush the process. You have to make sure that they feel completely comfortable. Another thing that I like to do with these kinds of sellers is I want to make sure that they're the main decision maker. If there's any other family involved, that's something I do ask about, right? Because I want to make sure that the family's on board with selling the property as well, right? Which, when I sent her, when I was negotiating with her on price, one of the biggest things is that I made sure that I got commitment from her, right? So, hey, if we can do that price, is this something you already move forward? When are you ready to move forward with? She said the next day, whatever. I sent her the agreement while I was on the phone with her. She had a few questions about it, okay? Now, on our contracts, it does have an expiration period on how long the offer is good for. So, if somebody calls me back in 2 days, the offer, I have to, the contract's voided. I have to redo it. But anyways, she wanted to speak with a family member, make sure the family reviewed it. I said, hey, no problem. When's a better time to call you back? Family member reviewed it. She actually tried calling me later that night. She emailed me saying, I'm available. Give me a call. I called her the following morning because I didn't see the email until later. But she had a couple questions. The first one was about the access, right? If a property is vacant, on our contract, it states that we have the right to put a lockbox on it, and we share that lockbox code with the homeowner. We also have the right to list a property on the MLS if needed. This particular property, I think it's worth around $430-ish, somewhere around there. It's in a great area. It's a little bit more of a rural area, but if we lock it up at $325 and it's worth around $430, it might actually be a solid novation, and the property is actually in good shape. It's just really messy. Some people think that just because the house is really messy that devalues the property. It really doesn't. I always tell people it doesn't matter if the house is clean or dirty. What we care about is just the bones, right? The roof, the AC, electric, plumbing, the condition of the house. So she was completely comfortable with everything. She did have another company, something about clouded title. She had to fight it with elderly abuse, something like that. And we're going to dig into that during the due diligence. But I set clear expectations. When it comes to properties like this, typically what we do is we partner up with a local investor-friendly agent, okay? And sometimes we bring it to the market, right? And there may be some more documentation that's necessary, but I would just want to make sure she's cool with everything. She's comfortable. She's actually really happy. The second call is 36 minutes. I'm not going to play that one, but I just wanted you to see what a motivated seller sounded like. So just keep that in mind. I got a question. How are you getting your leads? Is leadhouse365.com your company? It is not my company. Okay. They're just, they're a great PPC, lead generation company, because all I do in my business is inbound, right? We don't do any cold calling or anything like that. Some stuff we do outbound here and there, but a majority is 95% is inbound, right? And Lead House is one of those companies where I've had a good experience with them. I've already gotten 2 contracts with them with not that many leads, right? So when it comes to inbound marketing, that is the best, and I will only promote services or companies that I have a good experience with, and I've had a great experience with them. So if you want to check them out, head over to leadhouse365.com. Now, keep in mind, regardless what vendor you use, whether it's Leadhouse365 or anybody else, just because it's an inbound lead does not mean that these are magical, motivated sellers that are going to sign contracts right away, right? Some people, and it is an investment, right? It's not free, but I will tell you, it's the highest return of investment. But just because you're using inbound marketing company does not mean that these people are ready to sign. It requires acquisition skills, number 1. Number 2, follow-up, right? Just because you're using an inbound marketing doesn't mean here's some signed contracts. You guys have to make the call. You have to follow up. You have to nurture the lead. Some people think the deal is just falling in your lap. That's not the way it is, regardless what marketing method it is. So just make sure you check them out. There you go. Lead House 365 is the real deal. Yeah, they definitely are. I'm really happy with their leads. All right, let's move on to the next lead we have here. Somebody submitted a lead in Pensacola, Florida. This house looks like it needs a lot of work. That's the kind of stuff we like. And it looks like this one is also a FSBO lead. So let's take a look at this and see what the story is with it. Let me see here something. All right. So the story with this one, a completely break house on high base with a big garage, very quiet, convenient location, very large sitting room with a big dining room. The house looks like horrible. What happened here? There's a storage of over 1,000 square feet backyard. The storage has a small room and working space. All right. So they're asking 118. They actually did a price increase. Oh, that was a while back though. This thing's been on here for 82 days, 159 saves. It looks like it's, it has more saves than days, but the thing is, they're almost at 3 months on the market. So there's some information I need to know about. All right, cool. I mean, this is great. I mean, we love these kind of properties, right? Stuff we can add value to. All right, so what notes do you have in here about this property? Spoke to owner. Okay, so you spoke to owner. Make sure I'm looking at the right one here. Yes. Okay, cool. So you spoke to owner. She bought it to fix up the property. But contractor was not available until next year. Dang. She mentioned she bought materials for the roof and cleaned out the garage in the house. Property has no central AC, as only window. Doesn't sound motivated and is stuck on price. I told her a range of 75 to 100,000, but still wants 115. Told her a comparable in the area that is brick. Yes. So thanks for those notes. So she's at 115. She actually increased the price to 118. The house needs a lot of work. I actually spoke with a lead yesterday where they were helping their parents sell the property, but the son actually agreed with everything I said. He's like, man, I'm not going to debate with you. I'm not going to, even try to counter. My parents are just stuck on this price. This is the price they want. If they don't get it, they're not going to sell. What is this? This is a window unit in there. Okay. All right. Well, let's call this lead. They don't sound motivated. It's been on here for 3 months. The best you can do is follow up with leads like this. Remember, we can't force people to sell at a price they don't want. We could just influence them to make the best decision for themselves and create a win-win situation. So let's give them a call and see what's up. And then I'm going to start running comps, while it rings to get an idea. I think 75, the price that you mentioned is is probably closer to where we have to be at. So I think you're right on the money with that. Let's give him a call. And let me start running comps here. It's a decent area. Let's see. I see a comp. Let me see how many square feet is ours. Ours is 1722 square feet. Okay. So
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 9.
Going back one more time. I was running comps here. Now they're asking 118. This is really close to the highway. And if you know the way I comp, I don't like really crossing any major roads, highways, bodies of water, because it could be a completely different area. There's not that many. This isn't a very particular pocket of town. There's not that many comps around the pocket. If I zoom out, there are a few more comps, but they're selling really low. I mean, there's nothing even close to that square footage. I have to go a little bit out. I did see one, but that's just too far out. Yeah, that's too far out. Let me take a look over here. Let me try calling him back again. But I think 75 is, you're right, that's where we have to be at. Let's call back again. I mean, this bathroom needs work. The whole house needs work. Yeah, it needs everything. Some people are just stuck on price.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 9.
They're not gonna pick up. I'm just looking at some comps. The square footage is definitely something that you want to look at. I think the bedroom bathroom count. It's a 3-3. Yeah, but there's other properties, and the year built and if it's block or wood frame makes a big difference. This is a brick property, right? So, and there's a detached thing in the back. So this is a brick property. She increased the price. Now, what do you do if somebody's stuck on price, right? The last thing that you do want to do is try to push somebody that is firm. So, right. So you still have to try to negotiate and educate and all that stuff. But this person's been trying to sell this property for 3 months and they're just asking way too much. Now, what you have to do is keep following up. Once somebody's house is on the market that long, right, they get beat up with all these other offers. You have to make sure you follow up with people. I don't know the reason, more in depth into the reason she really wants to sell the property. I think there may be more behind the scenes. Maybe there's a second person of influence that's making a decision. I don't know. But make sure you still keep following up with them. All right, let's go to the next one. We have one here. Let's see. This is in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia. Let's see what we got in Savannah, Georgia. It's a great market as well. All right, so this one, another FSBO, listed for sale by owner on Zillow. They just cut the price. Oh, it's a while back they cut the price. Okay. I don't know what's up with these photos. I mean, it looks like they took a screenshot of a screenshot. Okay. The house looks in fair shape. I mean, you got a guy with a leaf blower there. The house it's in fair shape. Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks okay. So what's the story with this one? So you put in here fair condition, what repairs are needed under 10K to make rental ready, had a quote for 6,500 cosmetic. All right. Reason for selling: emotional tie, bad relationship, and wants to move on. Property reminds her. Absentee owner. Okay. HVAC repaired, roof 2 years old, has an offer for 200,000. Property near Savannah State University. She dropped the price from 230. Very pleasant to speak with. Well, that's nice. Now, if she got an offer for 200,000, why didn't she accept the offer? All right. Why didn't she accept the offer? That's what I really want to dig into. When somebody has an offer on the table and they didn't accept it, it's because they're either trying to get higher offers, all right, or they're not as motivated as we think. So how long has this been on here? This has been on here for 37 days, 43 saves. Now listed 199.9. This charming 2-bedroom, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right, let's give them a call. And I'm gonna come across to somebody. Let me see. Actually, it looks like they had a good experience with you. So that I'm gonna say that my partner spoke with you a while back. Who submitted this lead? Joseph, you submitted this lead. Lady's name is Courtney. All right, let's give Courtney a call and see what's going on with her property. When somebody is emotionally attached to their property, they have sentimental value towards it. And emotional attached in a bad way, because that's why they're motivated to sell. The reason they want to sell is because they're, they gone through a bad breakup. So they're probably, really motivated. All right, let's put the number in here and let's start calling them.
Hello?
Hey, Courtney.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Courtney, my name's Steven. I think you spoke with my partner, Joe, not too long ago about your property on in Savannah, Georgia, over there.
Correct.
Did I catch it at a good time?
Well, I got food in my mouth, but I can still listen.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so I wanted to get an idea of more or less what we can offer you. I know you're asking about $200,000 for the property. Is that right?
Sure. Yep. I can tell you, are you planning on doing renovation or are you planning on renting it out?
I'm not sure yet. According to the photos, I mean, it looks like it's rent ready. Doesn't really look.
Yeah, I mean, it needs about, I had a quote done. Now this is contractor rates, so subcontractor rates.
Mm-hmm.
But I got about $5,000. Now, not all of that $6,000. I'm sorry. Not all of that has to be done. And also there's an upcharge on everything, obviously, the blinds, everything. So there's not a critter problem, but if that's what the guy recommended and all these other things, this, that, and the other. So expect to put, let's just say 5,000 in it to get it rent ready. So that's removing all the holes, the nails in the walls and all that stuff. Replacing the blind. There's 2 blinds. So with that information, I'm waiting on another offer to come in. I've got an offer of 200,000, but that one I have to pay $5,000 in towards closing, and then $5,000 in for the buyer's agent. So that's the current offer I have. I'm waiting on the next offer, and they're aware of the previous one. And so, yeah, with that information, what do you got?
Yeah, so $500 at closing, and you said 500 for the agent or 5,000?
No, 5,000 for both.
Oh, 5,000 for both. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's stopping you from moving forward with that offer.
Well, no, actually, there was an issue where the air conditioning was not operational.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I had it lined up to get it fixed, I wanted to make sure that everyone understood this is as it is. I'm not warranting it. There's nothing's under warranty. Not that there's anything wrong. I'm just not going to be responsible for things.
Right.
They did not sign the contract when I wrote that in the special stipulations. They did not want to move forward with it. And so lo and behold, the next day, the air conditioner got fixed. But I had already withdrawn because I'd had enough of the back and forth and them not understanding what as is means. So, or as is I intend it to be. And so I withdrew and they're still interested. So that is the offer. It's still on the table. I'm now taking other offers.
Gotcha. What's
Uh-huh.
your ideal situation look like? Like if we covered the closing costs, fees, commissions, what price would make sense to you to feel comfortable at to move forward?
Well, you figure, I mean, you know the numbers. I'm looking for best offer. So
Sure.
I'm not like shoot your shot.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing here. Yeah. It's not, someone said, he's like, you're keeping all the cards to yourself. I'm like, yeah, you know, but I can.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm looking for best offer. As listed, I think it's a great price. I know the market's soft, but people are looking at it every day. So I'm just waiting for the best offer and then I'll move forward. The ideal situation is I've got a little calculator that ChatGPT helped me create that takes into consideration all the different types of things that I'm going to be paying, you know, like tax-wise, depreciation. It takes into consideration if there's closing costs, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I use this calculator to determine what is the best offer.
No, that's great. I'm happy to hear that, you know, you're one of the homeowners that actually do their homework and make sure you're getting the right price. No, that's great. Yeah, if it was you know, if we were to buy it in as is condition, and like I said, it looks rent ready. It's not like we have to renovate the full house. Looks like somebody could just move in.
No.
And just to confirm,
Sure.
this is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and 988 square feet.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because the way we come up with our offers is we just look at bedroom, bathroom, square footage, year built, and condition, and that'll give
Sure.
us an idea of where we have to be at. Now, do you know where 37th Street is?
I don't. I've never lived in this house.
Oh, you've never lived in it. Oh, okay.
No, I bought it thinking I was going to spend the rest of my life with my boyfriend, and we broke up, and he's been living in it ever since.
Got it.
So.
And is he being cooperative with the whole situation?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm taking a look here in the area because I want to compare apples to apples. I want to look at 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's a big difference between a 3-2 and a 2-1. But I do see one
Yep.
here, and you can pull this up on Zillow. It's 2109 East 37th Street. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
Sure.
It is a little bit bigger at 1,034
Mhm.
square feet, but it's actually very recent sale. And it looks like this one, rent ready, not a tear down or anything like that. It looks like this one sold for 150.
Sure. Yeah, but they don't have bike lanes and sidewalks being installed so kids can ride to school and all that good stuff. So keep that in mind. There's a whole neighborhood project going on. But I
Sure.
understand. So apples to apples, you want to take all that into consideration. So this is going to be, family is going to rent it, a young family. This is what I envision based on the situation, based on the size. The the third lot, so it's not a corner lot. I hope that's clear in my listing. The third lot was sold well over asking price. So this area is about to, with the bike lanes, with the sidewalks, it's about to completely change. So just keep that in mind if you weren't already aware of what's happening on Delesseps.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the area. The problem is
Sure.
in Georgia, especially, it's just the inventory and the days on market are increasing. There's actually more inventory than there are buyers. So we just gotta,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, if we were to buy it, I want to create a win-win situation. It's got to make sense for both parties, but I can only go
Yeah.
based off of, you know, comparable properties in the same area because of everything that's going on. Let me take a look at another.
150 won't come close to my other offer. So just understand 150 is not touching 200,000
Of course.
with paying 10,000 and up, you know, essentially it's 190, right?
Right.
But not really because the taxes are on the 200.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm not saying that's what we would offer. I'm just letting you know what's selling in the area.
Yeah, I've done my homework.
Good. No, that's the way it's got to be. And then what? You know, I know you're still collecting offers, but do you have an expected day on when you're looking to make a final decision?
as soon as I get the best offer according to my calculator, and there's like some numbers that I'm looking at, my magic number range that I'm looking at in terms of my net.
Mhm.
And as soon as I get that, I will move forward.
Perfect. What are you trying to net after all expenses?
There's a lot of factors coming in because there is 2 properties, the amount of money that the cost basis and all that. So again, I'm
Mhm.
just looking for best offer.
Perfect. I think if we were to make a cash offer, and I'm just going based off of comps. Let me take a look here real quick, because there's another one that's pretty comparable as far as size. Let me take a look at this one. Oh, and I forgot to ask any issues at all with like the electric or plumbing or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to repair when the washer and dryer, which will convey if the previous tenant hasn't taken them. When he installed them, apparently there was a plumbing issue that I found out about, thankfully, when I did a home inspection, and so that was fixed. Obviously, there's a new roof, and like I said, I've never lived in the house. I stayed in it last weekend. There are no issues. But I mean, there's nothing that I
I'm
can
gonna
tell
do a
you
takeaway and give
is
her like
going on with the
180,
house.
185
I
max.
stayed in it over the weekend,
Like,
couple weeks
she's
ago.
not in a rush to sell. Got it. Okay. Yeah, after just looking at the area, I think comfortably we'd probably be 180, 185, somewhere on that ballpark.
Let me
Now,
type that in my magic calculator.
I need a copy of that magic calculator. You made that?
I did.
Man, that's really cool.
ChatGPT helped me, but ChatGPT can't do math, surprisingly. So
Yeah.
fortunately, I can.
ChatGPT can't also look at the inside and the outside of the house either.
It can't. Now you're saying, does that include no commission and me paying and no closing costs on my part?
Correct. Yeah, no closing costs and no commissions.
So that's better than the other offer. So you are now first and wait to see what this offer comes in at. So I need to get you to send me an email with that information. And so you are now number 1.
Yay.
And so, let me write this name right here. So it's still under like a 10 grand what I would like to get my magic number, but it's closer to my magic number than the others.
Sure.
So
And then I'm gonna let let my partner know, Joe.
And I put in 180. Did you say, I'll just be clear, did you say 180 or 185? Oh, sorry, no, I put in 185.
What does ChatGPT think?
Yeah.
Where should I be at?
No, ChatGPT, oh my gosh, I just messed up my calculator. Hold on 1 second.
Oh no. Are you gonna get Tesla robots?
The ideal situation, get one of the what?
Are you gonna get one of those Tesla robots?
No, I don't know. I'm a math professor.
Oh,
so
wow.
This kind of stuff just comes. So yeah, the offer that gets me what I want, it's why I listed it, is $200,000. So that's what I listed it at.
You're a numbers person.
I am, yeah.
Okay.
And this calculator is pretty righteous. It takes in capital gains tax. Well, let's prayer on that.
Nice.
Federal recapture, state taxes. It's awesome.
And what's your best email? I can let Joe know. We'll send over just exactly what we just discussed. What I'll do is I'll get with Joe and we'll draft up like a letter of intent with the price and like the terms. And then when would be the best time that we could check back in with you after you review that?
Sure. Well, I'm going to wait for this other offer to come in just so I can figure out what is the best offer. So I can be in touch. If you want to text me on this line to keep a line of communication, you're welcome to.
Okay.
But I need to put your name beside this or the name of your company so I can keep track of what's what.
Sure. My name is Steven.
Steven. Okay.
Mhm.
This is Tamika. All right. Very good. Well,
Great.
congratulations, Steven. You are number one. Woo-hoo!
Woohoo! Thank you. We'll send that over, and then we'll follow up, and hopefully we can get something done. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Man, that was a great call, but she's relying on ChatGPT. 180, 185, I think number one, remember, we have to get these below what it's listed for. Okay, which if we get it at 180, 185, it's a little bit below. I see a comp right across the street. Now, her property, let me go back to that square footage just to double check something. Where's it at? Yeah, 988. Okay, so this one is a little bit bigger, but this one sold for 200,000. And yeah, this one's right across the street, sold for 200,000. This was a flip. Okay. Then there's another one. I think the ARV is 260K or more. One sold for 290. Yeah, here's one that's even smaller than hers. And this sold for 260. Okay. I don't know what kind of condition it was before it was renovated, but let me show you. And this one sold for 550, but looks like this is two properties. Check this one out. Like I think there's an opportunity here. Oh, whoops, hold on. This is one that's active. Looks like it's two properties, but this is fully renovated. They're asking 550. Okay, and then there's renovated one smaller than hers that actually sold, closed for about 260. All right, and this one's a wood frame. Hers is like, it's got the brick. Yeah, and hers isn't in bad shape either. Like, look at this one here. I'm gonna show you this one. Then move on to the next lead. But this one right here, this was a full renovated property. It's not as big as hers. They did a good job. This sold for 260. So it's a good area. Now, I'm not going to bid against myself and get into this bidding war. That's why when I say 180, 185, you know, I'm just kind of softly putting that out there because I know the lady's not going to make a decision today, right? She's trying to collect offers, all this, all that. The most important thing is, Joe, you submitted that. I muted myself when I got the email, but Joe, you're in the community. So I'm going to email you or message you her email. And we just have to say, hey, this is what our offer is. Here's the terms. When's the best day to follow back up with you? Okay. But that was a great call. I mean, she laughed. She's open. She's nice. She's reasonable. She's smart. She's doing her homework. All right. So that's great. All right. And guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will get to the questions here in a second. I want to call the next lead. All right. What is the next lead we have here? Let's see. This one is in West Virginia. All right. Let's go ahead and call this one on Camp Road. Let's see what we got here. And when people aren't in a rush, you don't want to rush them, okay? If they're not in a rush, you don't want to sound thirsty because it's just a big turnoff. You know, you're going to sound like a high-pressure car salesperson. You don't want to do that, okay? That's going to hurt your rapport. Take your time, write down notes, focus on building rapport, okay? And give an offer. The main thing is you just have to give an offer. That's what you have to do. Offers, 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 and more offers. All right, so this next one looks like it's in West Virginia. All right. Man, this thing's in, I don't know how old these photos are. When did this sell? Let me see. This property it looks like it's in good shape, but these are probably old photos. Let me confirm the address. Okay, so it says sold. I want to see. I always ask people if there's photos on Zillow. I ask them, hey, are these recent photos? Or if they're not, how similar? I don't know what that is. How similar is your property? How similar does it look right now compared to the photos? All right. Because if it looks about the same, you basically have what you need. All right. And that's going to help you run comps and get an idea of where your offer is, because I don't just look at like cash comps and that's my offer. I do want to take into consideration, obviously, the condition of the property, because when I'm looking at comps, you also have to see what the condition is. All right. Where am I at? Hold on a second. I have way too many tabs open here. Okay, so this is the correct address. All right, perfect. So, and then I wanted to see this. Oh, this is pictures, looks like from 2023. Okay. All right, cool. The story of this one, asking 390, condition okay, need some work, reason for selling, we have to relocate, no, this property is not currently listed, I need to sell this property ASAP. All right, the house looks like it's in good shape. Let's go ahead and give them a call. Let's see if they answer the phone, and then I want to get more into the details. There's always more information that the homeowner can give you, even if you have all the notes in front of you. You really have to dig in more on the reason they want to sell. Okay, you're relocating. Where are you moving to? I know you need to sell the house ASAP, right? And then let me look at the comps here as well. Roxanne.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message
Little area. I
system.
don't see too many comps here. Hold on, do I have a seller call me back? I can't tell this seller. Nope. Oh, new message. What was this? Okay. All right. Let's call this person back one more time, and then we'll move on to next. See if they don't call, and drop questions. I will be answering questions here shortly. So if you have any questions about anything, go ahead and drop.
Hello.
Hey, Roxanne.
Hello. Yes.
Hey, my name's Steven. I think you filled out a form on our site about your property on Camp Road. Did I catch it a good time?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. Yeah, you did. But you know what? Can I just tell you the situation so I don't waste your time? Because I know you guys buy houses. We bought this house 2 years ago.
Okay.
It is a huge home.
Mm-hmm.
It's on 10 acres. It has huge garage. You could fit 6 people in. There's 6 cars, and there's building, you know, like, because it used to be a farm.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we got to relocate, and we've only had the house for 2 years. So I don't know if you can help us, because, sir, we have to pay the house off. I can't take a low ball, a low ball thing from you guys, because it has to be paid off. You know what? I put a lot of money into the house. I've only been here 2 years. I don't even care if I get that back. I just need to pay it off so that I can go on with my life, because anyway, I don't want to get upset, but so that's why, if you think you can help us, fine. But if you're gonna like come at me with like $100,000, I'm sorry.
No.
My house is worth almost $400,000.
Absolutely. I appreciate you telling me that. And, we're not always the best fit, but we do have a lot of options. So my process is actually quite simple. I have a lot of information here that you submitted. What I do is I just ask a few more questions about the property. I evaluate the area, and I want to say it takes about 5-10 minutes. Is that okay?
Sure, but I need to tell you something. When you evaluate the area that I am in,
Yes.
I don't know if you know anything about West Virginia. It's very rural. Where I am, because I'm in a rural area,
Mhm.
the houses here on my road and around me, people don't sell. They don't sell. I mean, there's a home right up the street from me that's worth probably $1 million, but people don't sell. They don't sell because this is generational. This is farming, and it's generational. People don't leave their homes.
Yeah. No, I see that.
So I don't. It's hard to find. It's hard to find like a comp,
Yeah.
because compared to what we have, we have a 5-bedroom house, 5 fireplaces. We have 10 acres. We have a garage that's probably, I can't tell you how many feet it is, but right now, like you could fit, I'm going to say about 6 cars in it probably. And there's a workbench, and then there's a horse stall, there's a chicken coop, there's buildings on the property. Let me tell you something. If I could, I would have made this a bed and breakfast, because it's just, the area is beautiful. It's peaceful. It's just, anybody would be so glad to live here because it's so peaceful and just thing. But I think people more like the city than the country.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice area, and that's right next to the high school there as well. It's a great area.
Yes, the high school's right down the street from us.
Sure.
And as far as internet, can I just tell you, as far as like internet and that, we have Starlink.
Nice.
And it's like a satellite. You've heard of it, it.
Right. Yeah.
And we get excellent internet here. Excellent. My neighbor, my neighbor has I don't know, something else, and hers is okay, but we get excellent. I do everything off that one internet. Like I stream our phones even, because, with the internet, everything. So I just wanted to tell you, I don't know why.
No, that's great. And
I'm not, I'm just going to tell you, I haven't been having, the last couple of days, I haven't been very good, because I don't know we don't know what to do. Because we probably have to relocate. I'm not going to stay in this house alone without my husband. I'm sorry, sir.
No, it's okay. I understand. I'm sorry to hear that. I'll see what I can do to help you out. I always tell people, people always want to sell for different reasons. And I like telling people up front, we are an investment company, so we're not always the best fit. Now, if I'm not a good fit, I'm not going to waste your time. I'll let you know up front, and I'll point you in the right direction. So,
Okay.
I'm not here to lowball you, and it's got to be a win-win for both of us, right? So, and yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's photos here on Zillow. I'm assuming these are when you purchased the home?
Yes, but just so you know, they're showing. Are you looking inside at all, or just the outside picture?
Yeah, there's inside and outside.
I just went. Okay, the only reason I mentioned that is because the kitchen doesn't look like that anymore. The living room doesn't look like that anymore. The dining room doesn't look like that anymore. And I was actually working in my husband's. I've been doing one room at a time. When I say one room at a time, I mean I've been we put new floors in the kitchen. I did the cabinets, and then in the dining room, I stripped the floors, just stuff like that. The house needs cosmetic work inside. Like upstairs, there's wallpaper in the bedrooms, and some of it needs to be taken off. Stuff like that. It's not nothing major. It's just like cosmetic work.
Right. Okay. So let me take a look here. And this is a 5-bedroom, 2-bath. Is that right?
5-bedroom, 2-bath. Yes.
Okay. And as far as the condition, can you tell me? I know you said it needs a little bit of work, but can you tell me a little bit more specifically about the work it might need?
Like I said, upstairs. Well, if you're going to ask, because the stuff that I didn't do yet, the floors need the floor. Like I would strip I'm going to strip the floors in my husband's office if I get to do it, but like upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I painted downstairs and everything. And I did stuff outside too. Like I did a lot of work outside, like with the yard and everything like that. But upstairs there are 4 bedrooms upstairs and there's one downstairs. There's 2 of them that have wallpaper. That has to be stripped off because it's old, because the house was built in 1894.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a historic home. And basically, the floors are beautiful up there. I think that's probably, but can I honestly, I would remodel another bathroom if I could. You know what I mean? I would remodel the one bathroom upstairs. I'm not real crazy about. I mean, it works and everything's fine, but I wanted to redo the whole thing.
Okay.
To my taste.
What was the age of the roof?
I'm trying to think when they told me when we bought the house. It's like maybe 10 years old, and the front of it has a metal roof on it.
Metal roof. Okay, perfect. Yeah, those last a while.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a few options. Like I said, as an investment company, we're not always the best fit. If we're not a good fit, I'll let you know up front so we don't waste your time. So we usually have 3 options. The first option is always the cash offer. And as you know, that's usually not the highest, but it's the fastest. And it's always the lowest
Right.
too. So that probably won't work.
Yeah.
I'll just let you know up front right now. But there's 2 other options. You can just kind of let me know if any of these might make sense. The second option is a terms option, right? So we're able to pay right about full market value if the homeowner's open to, like seller financing with a down payment. Is that something that you might be open to?
Well, I don't understand what that is. Would you be able to explain it a little bit? I'm not quite sure what that is.
Sure. So like, let's say you want $390,000, okay? And let's say we're able to pay that. So we'll offer you $390,000, but it would be in the form of payment. So we would make a down payment, and then we would make equal monthly payments until the balance is paid in full. So it's almost like you're the bank.
That might be good for us.
Okay.
What do you think? I mean, that might be a good option for us because as long as the mortgage payment is getting paid every month, I mean, the house will the house be in your name then or still in our name? That's what I was just wondering. Like, how does that, would I transfer it to you guys? Okay.
Well, it would stay,
and then you'll
stay
just
in your
pay
name with the mortgage in place. Those are, the paperwork is drafted a little bit differently with the title company, but we would actually take over the mortgage and make those payments for you,
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I wanted to tell you also, just in case you talk to anybody that is interested in it, with our taxes, we get a huge discount on our property taxes because it's farming.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that lives way up behind us, and we let him graze his animals on our property, and so we get a huge discount with taxes. So that's one thing. And the cost of living is a lot lower in West Virginia than in a lot of other states. So I just wanted to mention that. But that might seem like something that we might be interested in. But I have to talk to my husband about it, of course.
Right.
But if you think maybe you can work that for us.
Yeah, and it's never like a one call, here's your offer. We're going to have to do our due diligence to see, what it could rent at.
Right.
A few questions for you. How much is what's the remaining balance on the mortgage?
Well, we've only been here 2 years, so it's like $320.
Okay.
I try to pay on it extra every month.
Sure. And do you know about how much the monthly payments are?
Yes, 2,400 and something. I don't know the change, but
okay,
it went down a little bit because the taxes, you know, because our taxes are in the mortgage. So it went, the payment went down like the last couple months, you know,
Okay.
because of the taxes.
Does that include taxes and insurance with that monthly payment?
Yes. Yeah, taxes, insurance. Yes, we have State Farm to insure the house. It's right down the road.
Perfect. And then what?
And I know we're really rural, but
Yeah.
we're not that far from like Clarksburg or
Mhm.
Charleston and stuff like that. It's, you know, it's not a far drive for us, and it's really close to Maryland.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really good area. I like it. What's the interest
Yeah.
rate on the mortgage?
Hey, why don't you buy it and move your family here? Sorry.
I love these kinds of
That's just a
properties.
joke.
You know what we've been trying to actually start doing? We've been looking for land to start beekeeping actually and start producing honey. So
Are you kidding me?
no, why?
You know why?
Why?
Because that would be so awesome for his husband's a nature person and the bees and that. And I would love to have haven't seen any beekeepers around here. Matter of fact, I had to go to Pennsylvania to get I wanted to get local honey because of my allergies, because that helps your allergies.
Yeah.
You don't have to take allergy medicine. But my husband, I actually found that we have a screened-in porch too. And there's a huge laundry room. But I was on the screened-in porch, and there was this huge bee laying there.
Wow.
And it was moving a little bit. So I ran the house real quick and told my husband. He came out and he put it in like a little jar, and that because he researches stuff, he thinks it might be one of those killer bees. It's huge.
Oh man, yeah, those are
It's a
invasive.
huge
Aren't they?
bee.
There's so many benefits to
He
keeping in honey, but
yeah, that would be great for you. Oh, that's awesome. And what a good thing to do too, because you're helping people at the same time, you know,
Yeah.
with the honey.
it's the backbone of agriculture, and there's a tax discounts on because of farming. That's even better. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, and you know what?
mhm.
The what is it? It's not far from it. Our agricultural center is right down the road from us too, and
Oh.
agriculture is really big here, and they try to protect it, you know.
Yeah,
So
no, that's great. I forgot to ask would you happen to know the interest rate to that mortgage?
yes, it is 6.75.
Okay, 75%. All right. So with these kinds of offers, it's never like, here's your offer. I know you have to speak with your husband, see if that's even something he's open to. I'm going to speak with my team. And
Right,
I'm going
right.
to run numbers and see. And then what we'll do
Okay.
is we'll lay out, if your husband's on board, we'll lay out what that would look like as far as payment and terms. And then we would need like a payoff statement from the mortgage, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think for your situation, we're able to pay a much higher price, take over the burden of the mortgage. And that way, you can transition peacefully into whatever you need to do. We've helped out a lot of homeowners that way.
I'm just going to say that you've been a blessing to me today, because I've been just out of my mind about this. And thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me and trying to help. You're just a blessing to me. Thank you.
That means a lot. I'm really happy to hear that. And, this is all about people, and we'll do our best to help you out. So I'm going to take this information. I know you have to speak with your husband. When would be a
Okay.
better time I can check back in with you?
I'm here all day. If you want to call me later on today, or if you want to wait and call me tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. I mean, I'm always around. So whenever you have time, you can call. I know you're a lot busier than me.
I just want to make sure you have enough time to speak with him. That's all. I can call you today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Matter.
How about tomorrow? Oh no, tomorrow's Saturday. Is Monday too late?
No, I mean,
call?
I can call you tomorrow too if you.
Oh.
It's just when we move at your pace, so whenever you're comfortable.
Okay. Well, tomorrow will be okay, but I don't want you to have to work on a Saturday on your day off. So
I don't really
I'm here.
Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday party, so I might call you after.
Okay.
Probably in the afternoon. I probably don't want to call you during the birthday party.
And you know what? If you can't, you can call me Monday and tell your daughter happy birthday. And my birthday's today, so
Oh,
we
happy
have a
birthday.
birthday.
Look at that.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's nice. I hope she has a beautiful birthday.
Yeah, she's turning 4, so it's my only
Cool.
daughter, so it's I don't know how I feel about it. She's growing too quick, way too quick, but
Oh, I know.
I'm
My
enjoying.
granddaughter, my son lives in Italy, and my granddaughter called me this morning. She's 6, and she sang me happy birthday. She sang me happy birthday in English. She sang me happy birthday in Italian and in Korean, because my son was in the military, the army, and they went all over, and so she speaks like 3 or 4 languages, and she's only like 6. But that's the time to learn it when they're young.
Yeah, they learn so much.
Yeah,
They're like
so
little sponges. That's the time. They learn everything.
they sure are.
Okay.
They sure are. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Treasure it so much, because before you know it,
Yeah.
they got the, like they just grow so fast. But all right, I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
Like I said, if you can't tomorrow, please enjoy your daughter. Like, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. And but if you have time to call, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. It was a pleasure speaking with you. We'll touch base. Have a great weekend. Happy birthday.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. My God. You see what this is all about? This is all about, it's not the price. It's not, the last thing is the price. This is such a, and by the way, this lead came from Lead House 365. So this is the quality of leads. A lead for me, somebody that wants to sell and needs to sell. It's not a lead that, hey, I want an offer. No, the person needs to sell and wants to sell. And this person needs to sell and wants to sell. I gave a cash. I didn't even want to give a cash offer, because I knew that I couldn't meet those needs. I couldn't meet those needs. And if you're just trying to churn and burn these leads, it's not sustainable. You really have to dig into the reason why they want to sell, when they want to sell. The lady was emotional. She didn't really tell me much, but there's something going on. She needs to relocate. So the cash offer is not the priority here. The terms, before I even got to the third option, which was the Novation listing, the terms, she just like instantly like that may work. I didn't want to dig in too much into like what's going on in the background, but she felt comfortable. I love these kinds of properties, by the way. So land and agriculture and farming is great. So, I don't want to rush the process. She has to speak with her husband, number one, and make sure that makes sense. And number two, I have to do some homework on my end. Right now, I got the monthly payments. I got the interest, which is a little bit high, but that's okay. And then I want to see what's going on in the area. But guys, focus on the people. This is all about the people. Some people buy these leads and they think, how much money am I going to make? Let me just give a cash offer. It doesn't work. No problem. Let's move on to the next lead. That's not how this works. It's all about the people. Why do they want to sell? When do they want to sell? And if you partner up like, a lead company like Lead House 365, they will put these people in front of you. So I'm glad you got to see that. And that makes me feel so good. Just because I guess I caught her at the right time. There's something going on. And if I can offer a solution and it's a win-win, man, what a great day. And it was her birthday. That was probably one of the best calls we've had on the deal desk. So Lead House 365, a huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for providing quality leads for people that actually want to sell. So I'm going to do my due diligence on that, and I'll probably call her tomorrow after my daughter's birthday. Okay, let's get to some Q&A. I'm glad you guys got to see that call, and you can always replay it here and see how that went from beginning to end. I'll probably make a separate video of that lead alone. But let's get into some Q&A. What questions do you guys have here? Let's go. Awesome. Lead House 365. Happy Friday. Yes. Let's see. Alpha Meta. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm glad that you're happy with Lead House. How do you present subject to? Great question. So kind of like that, when I'm presenting a subject to offer, the first thing I want to find out is, the PITI. And by no means, I'm not a creative finance expert. I've actually done some of those, but I want to make sure it's a tool in my tool belt, because this is how we do things. We give the cash offer. That's the first tool. Some people need to sell quick. They don't care about the price. The second tool is the terms, right? If there's a mortgage, it's subject to the existing mortgage. If there's no mortgage, it's even better. It's seller financing. The third option is the novation. I try to explain these things in a very simple way, right? Where they just kind of understand. Because the first time she kind of didn't understand. So I tried just explaining it very simple. And she got it. And she actually liked it. All right. But try not to do all that on the first call. Gather some information. Tell them you have to run your numbers. She has to speak with her husband, right? I don't want to rush the process, but you always want to do that. The next step is I want to see what it could be rented for. There's a lot of ways to go about it. There's a lot of ways to go about it. A sub 2 is subject to the existing mortgage deal. Zoom not opening the community. Thanks for the YouTube notice. I am in now. Perfect. Where do you get your leads from that you call? All we do is inbound marketing. Okay. Lead House 365 is one of the main sources now, which, that call came from Lead House 365, right? So again, I use different resources, not just for leads, but for comps and stuff. But when it comes to leads and services, I always want to make sure that, I want to promote stuff that I have a positive experience with. If I've tried other vendors that I didn't really have a good experience with, there's no need for me to refer them to you, right? I don't have to talk bad about them. I just leave them alone, right? But if I have a good experience, I will tell you what I'm using, because I want you to win too. There's plenty of leads out there for everybody. Okay. What's up? They're in the house. What's up, Mike? Yep. What's up, Sai? We all need the Chat GPT calculator. Yeah. Let's go. What's up, Duncan? What's up, Mike? Yeah, that rapport is really, really important. I mean, the price is usually the last thing I want to talk about. I really want to get to know the person. Tell me about your story. Why do you want to sell? When do you want to sell? Right? The price is always the last thing that you talk about. Okay. Yeah, building relationship and trust is great. Great call. Awesome. That's it. People's number one. Thanks, Lead House. I'm glad you guys got to see that call, right? Because, I've been doing this for a while now, but when you see it live, you just learn from calls like this, and all you have to do is just apply it in your business. Yeah, I'm glad I made her birthday. Do we invest in California? We do. Yes, we do. How much is Lead House 365? So I'll tell you one thing. Let me pull up their site. They actually have so they have this here. This is your website. Yes, I want leads. And the cool thing is it's claimed by market, right? So let me take this off. It's claimed by the market. So it's not like you're stepping on your own toes, because some of these companies, what they'll do is they'll create a bidding system, which there's nothing wrong with that. But, if you're in the same market as somebody else, it doesn't matter how good of a closer you are, you're going to get outbid, right? So you just have to make sure that you guys know what you're getting into. So I would suggest you book a call with them, okay? And first make sure this is right for you, because, guys, this isn't like, some people that they think this stuff is like, $20 a month subscription. This is an investment, but it's worth it. Okay. It's worth it. All right. You have to, you have to spend money, make money. The prices aren't on here. There's different packages. It's not a one size fits all, but if you want to talk with them and discuss more about that, just go on their website. All right. It's not a one size fits all. There's different packages. Choose a package that makes sense for you. Everybody, starts at different places and everything. So yeah. What other questions we have? Yes, really great call. I'm glad you got to see it. Amazing things. Would you partner up with a subject to on a riverside? Yeah, anywhere in the United States. Anywhere in the United States. Lately, I love Oklahoma and Hawaii. We still have relationships with buyers everywhere. I'll take a look at everything and anything. If you are in the community, we have this deal desking that I'm doing right now. If you are in my community, we have these every single day, except Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, you can ask me questions. I'll call your leads. So yeah, how do I get pictures of the inside of a seller's home when they are reluctant to share the pictures? Home is unlisted, owner is the only contact. So how do I get pictures inside of someone when they are reluctant to share the pictures? So reluctant to share the pictures. So I'm assuming you mean something like they don't want personal belongings or personal things shown. I would tell them that we can avoid taking pictures of those things. What we really care about is just the bones. It's like I spoke with the lady yesterday. She's like, "Oh, the house is a mess. I don't want any photos." Well, we don't care about how messy or clean it is. It's not going to affect anything. I just care about the condition, right? The bathroom, the kitchen, the outside, the exterior. All right. So usually that'll ease people up a little bit. We don't market properties unless we have photos. I mean, it's hard to market a property without photos, right? How much feedback and traction offers are you going to get? Okay. What's up, Deborah? I know you're in the community. How are you? Happy Friday. How do I keep my cool? Example, Chat GPT lady. How to keep my cool? I mean, you have to let the person talk more than you do. Something that I've gotten really good at is just listening. I just want to listen to them. I don't care if they're a Chat GPT wizard, if they're going through something. I should be doing less talking than they are. I want to hear what they have to say. Okay, regardless of why they want to sell, the price doesn't really matter, guys. Like, listen, be patient. And then, when you also have to time it right, because some mistakes that I do see is some people, they just jump right into the numbers, right? So how much you want? What kind of time frame? Like, I want to listen. Okay, you're on a list. I'm using Chat GPT. Great. Build a little bit of rapport. Make them laugh, right? Man, I need a copy of that calculator, right? When I kind of threw the Tesla robot joke, it kind of went over her head, and then she's like, "Wait, what?" But just listen to people, right? You should be doing less of, the seller should always be speaking a lot more than you are, and they feel heard, right? I may not be the highest offer, right? We got an accepted offer. One of the contracts we have right now is a great deal in Hawaii, and based on the person's feedback and their experience will tell you how good you set expectations. Are we perfect? No, I don't think anybody out there is perfect, but we do our best, right? And something that really proved the point, and this could happen to you too. It's happened a lot to a lot of people, but the person said that we weren't the highest, but they trusted us the most, and that speaks a lot, and that means a lot. We don't take that lightly. We weren't the highest offer. Now, why would they accept a lower offer? Because they trust us more. And we were just fully transparent about everything. One of the things a lot of people are scared about is telling the homeowner what you plan on doing. I talked to a guy yesterday in Oklahoma, and I told him there's no sales in this area. A cash offer is not going to work. What we can do is we can partner up with you to bring it on the market, but we would have to work with a local investor-friendly agent. We would list the property on the open market, aka novation. And I would need about 90 days. Are you okay with that? He's going through a divorce. So he has to confirm with his ex-spouse, but he was on board with it. He doesn't care. We had another situation where the guy, he knew exactly what we were doing, right? If we get a property under contract, we have every right to close on it. But remember, we can assign it, we can flip it, we can rent it, we can double close. Whatever we do, it doesn't matter. The person just wants to make sure that they get the price they want. There are times that deals don't close. right? We all have a due diligence on our contract for a reason, aka inspection period. These deals don't always close. We've had a few deals fall out due to a variety of reasons. One lady, she got hospitalized. Another lady, her mother got hospitalized. Another property was in the middle of nowhere. We relied on an agent to get it across the finish line, and they weren't really professional, and their communication wasn't well. So we rather cut it loose rather than drag it along. Hopefully we get a buyer. We tell people if it doesn't make sense to us, we'll let you know as soon as possible so we don't tie it up. Are they going to be happy? No. But I can sleep good at night knowing that I was fully transparent. I did the right thing. And that's just how we operate, guys. You guys don't need a lot to do a lot. Okay. So for us, it's quality over quantity. You need good leads, right? Leads is the number one thing. You need to talk to people. If you're starting out, you don't really have a budget, call FSBOs, right? Make offers, right? If you have a little bit of a marketing budget, look into a company like Lead House 365 and just get those people in front of you, tune into the deal desk and, watch the rest. Okay. What other questions we have? Thanks for closing this thing or getting me in the game. Let's go. Are you using something other than PropStream? When it comes to comps, I use PropStream. Lately, I've also been using a company called InvestorBase. Do they have? I don't know if I added the link. Let me go over here real quick. InvestorBase is a disposition software. Let me put it here. I'll put the link in the reitoolbox.com. But basically, they're disposition software. But the way I comp, just to let you know, is I look and see what investors have bought for recently similar properties. If I can use a software that shows what investors bought for recently, that's what kind of tells me what my offers are. Now, obviously, it's not built for comping, but I like to use it for comping and dispo because it gives me great information. I need more in-depth information. I use PropStream. PropStream is the only thing, obviously, Zillow's not ideal for comping. I sometimes look at photos and stuff on Zillow, but PropStream and InvestorBase have been the main, tools I use. There is a 7-day free trial. Now PropStream has different packages. So I do have, if you head over to the reitoolbox.com, all the stuff that I use is on there. Okay. Just in case that you're wondering what I use for what. All the stuff that I use, I always put on there. So the reitoolbox.com, it's just a link tree. It shows what I use for comps and everything else. For InvestorBase, there is a promo code. If you use the code word Steven, you get $100 off your first month. It is an investment, but it's a very powerful tool. And then PropStream, you get a 7-day free trial if you use that link. And now they have different packages. So, there's no excuses. You literally have all the tools and resources you need to close deals. And all you guys need is, if you're new, don't get discouraged if your offer doesn't get accepted or you get yelled at. There's so many tools and resources out there to make sure you get that deal. And it only takes one deal to change everything. Okay. Let me see. What other question? What is the name of this strategy, Stephen, you use with the West Virginia homeowner? Is this subject to? Yes. So sub 2, I've done a few deals. I don't really do a lot of these deals because I mainly do cash offer. Now we're focusing heavily on novations in rural areas. But anything creative financing is actually more attractive. Okay. So subject 2 is where you take over the homeowner's payments, the homeowner's mortgage. You take over the mortgage, right? It's got to be a win-win. You want to find out what the principal, interest, taxes, insurance are. I want to see what I could rent it for. I want to see all that stuff. It's never like a 7-minute, here's your offer. It's like, let me get to know you first, why you want to sell, when you want to sell, maybe how much you want to sell for. And notice in the beginning, she's like, if you're going to lowball me, whatever. She didn't say in a rude way, but I knew in my head, I'm not going to push for a cash offer because it's just not going to make sense, right? I have to bring different solutions to the table. So that's that's what the offer is for this one, since she has a mortgage in place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this information, I'm going to run some numbers, and then I'm going to make a letter of intent. I have to follow up with her tomorrow after my daughter's birthday, and I'm going to see if her husband's on board. Because if her husband's not on board, you're spinning your wheels. You got to get everybody be on board. Okay, man, this was probably one of my favorite episodes on the Deal Desk, simply because you guys got to see a great conversation with somebody that was motivated, number one. Number two, I gave more options than just a cash offer. You need to have more options than just a cash offer. If you're just giving cash offer to everybody, it's not always going to be, especially when you're starting out and you have less leads, try to give more options to those people. You don't have to be masters at this. If somebody's interested in the terms, you can reach out to me and I'll help you structure those terms, especially if you're in the community. You have a direct line of communication with me. But guys, what a great episode. Again, shout out to Lead House 365. You already saw 2 leads today from this amazing company. So if you are interested in getting high quality leads, I just called one live, so you got to see the whole everything. All right. Go ahead and check them out. They're awesome. Guys, have a great weekend. If you're in the community, I will see you on Monday, or you can shoot me a message. But other than that, guys,